What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome, exiles, to the research institution. So, I've made a couple videos where it's kind of being mean. I don't know how else to say it. And to be honest with you guys, I feel kind of like a dick. So basically, I wanted to convey to you the things that I find great and alluring about PoE 2 so far. I've been playing this game since the release of the early access beta, and it's been quite a spiritual journey so far. Been live streaming it on this channel and on Twitch and so forth, and thank you guys for your support. I really didn't anticipate this channel to be growing as quickly as it is, so I'm quite pleased with that. And blessings to you all who comment, who like the videos, and especially blessings to those who are my patrons, my channel members, and my super chatters when I'm live streaming, so thank you all for your support. The first thing that I have on the list is something that maybe goes underlooked a bit, I don't know. It's the combat. This is like the new style of ARPG games or whatever. I think this is like a new standard for them. And it's hard to imagine at this point going back. So what I mean by the combat is how your character, you click on the screen somewhere and they can continue moving in that direction. And then say you right click on an enemy with lightning arrow, for example, if you're playing the ranger class. What she'll do is while she's still running in that direction in which you told her to go, she's going to turn and start blasting at the enemies. Boom, 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 boom. Just how fluent that is. Like if you compare that to something else, like even Diablo 2, as much as many of us love that game, when you're playing as the Amazon, or the Manazon in this case, if we're talking about D2R, when he shoots his bow, he has to stop first. And then he starts shooting. Boom, 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 boom. Multi-shot, for example. It's crazy. And Lightning Fury as well. As much as I like that build, which strangely enough, we're getting the Huntress in PoE 2. If you guys haven't heard of that character, I'll be making a video on it shortly. But she's a lot like the old school Amazon, like the original one, the real one, in the LOD days, in the early 2000s days. She's that one. And she has a skill that's very much like Lightning Fury. Only when you throw the javelin at the enemies, instead of it splitting, it causes a lightning bolt to come out of the sky, and boom. And I think you can level it up and have more lightning bolts come out of the sky where it hits for some AoE. Wow. What a skill that is. But you guys see what I'm saying? And of course, you can even modify your gameplay style in PoE 2, where you have the WASD movement and then the mouse, where you can always be moving in X direction without having to click there before the character stops again, like you would if you're just playing the old school style with just keyboard and mouse. And then you can continually shoot your skills off and this and that and the third and have a damn good time. This is immersive. You know, this is like real life. If you're out and about fighting devilkins, for example, in real life, you don't have to fucking stop to shoot your bow. You don't have to stop to shoot your fireball or to cast Frost Nova. You know, you can still do that while moving a little bit. I do it all the time against squirrels and shit while I'm going on my walks in the cemetery and on the road. But you guys see what I'm saying? Just how realistic that is. And how the hell, I mean, I think I'm going to go back. Maybe I'll even play Diablo 4 again for a little while. I'll probably play Project Diablo 2, which is a fan-modded version of Diablo 2. It's a great way to play it. It's based on Path of Exile mechanics, basically, in terms of itemization and endgame mapping system, corrupting items, and so forth. But hot damn, what a thing that is, the way that the combat is now. And just how fluent that is. It's like the new standard is what it feels like. Because you can still play it the old school way with just the keyboard and mouse without the WASD movements, and just how much more fluent it is. I mean, I know that they say that this game isn't as fast-paced as the other ones because you're not just screen pop and everything. But with that being said, the combat itself is a little faster if you want it to be, because you can run and shoot shit and collect shit as you're going. I mean, wow. What a thing that is. Number 2 on my list right here, the things that so far I think make PoE 2 great. Magic, rare, and unique items. Actually, point number 3 is a lot more important, so let's get to that in just a minute, but I'll make this one quick. The magic, rare, and unique items. With Diablo 4, for example, and some other games, let's just say Diablo 4 and Diablo 3, they really fucked up with itemization. I mean, the only items that you collect that are meaningful after 10 minutes of playing are the legendary items, and then occasionally the mythic item, or whatever the hell they call them now. So you basically fill up your inventory with all these legendary items. They have the beam coming out of the sky when they fall, of course, but that's fun the first couple times, meaning the first couple seconds of playing. But after that, it just becomes the norm. It used to be a cool thing when the item would fall and the beam came out of the sky. You're like, oh, wow, legendary, it made this sound. Pshing! And now it's just, oh, great. It's just a bunch of shit that I have to collect and go to town in 3 minutes and salvage all of it just to come back to combat again. And then you see blues and yellows, the magics and rares. And all that stuff is just clutter. You don't even pick that up after an hour of gameplay. It's not even worth picking up to salvage because it's just a waste of fucking time. Not even to mention the white items. It's crazy. Why are they even in the game? So they just intentionally add endless clutter that's tedious to deal with, that makes you almost just want to quit. It made me want to quit. There's just too much shit. And to top it off, they don't even give you a loot filter. And heaven and hell forbid they'll allow third-party systems to come in and make the loot filters for us, like what we get in PoE, for example, or even Project Diablo 2, the fan-modded version of Diablo 2. It's crazy. Why the hell isn't there a loot filter? It just makes me wonder, who the hell's making these games? Is it made by AI? Is it made by bots? I don't fucking know, but I mean, it seems like we could make a better game. Like if you gave us like a day or something. Holy shit. Again, I wanted to be positive in this video, because I feel kind of bad for the things that I've said. But I'm just trying to be real with you guys. And I mean, to an extent, I feel like this is the voice of reason here, you know? Like, is any of this stuff that I've said refutable? Pretty sure not. And if you think it is, comment below in the comment section, and we'll see what you guys have to say about that. Another big thing. The enemies don't level with you. How much that ruins the fucking game when the enemies level with you. This is like the old days again. This is like D2 again, where you go through Act 1. It's a struggle. It's a grind. You might even get your ass kicked. But then you finally make it to Act 2. What's always fun is going back to previous areas that used to be kind of difficult, and then you can just obliterate them. It's like having vengeance, and it's like you can feel the power creep. You know what I mean? You can feel that you've increased in power. You can feel your godliness. You can feel the ascension. It's just amazing. And that's completely lacking in games where enemies level with you continually. Why the fuck do you even do that? You know, what's the point of having other areas if they're all just the same fucking thing? You know, you might as well just be in one big arena and just keep killing shit instead of making us have to travel over here and do the same fucking thing over there. That's kind of the point of the enemies not leveling with you, is so you can get better and you can exceed them in power and then maybe go fight the stronger ones somewhere else. So, I mean, I think that's a great idea, and it's good that they're going back to it. You know, on paper, it sounds like a good idea to have them level with you. You'd be like, oh, yeah, then you could just go anywhere. You don't got to worry about the monster level. You just go anywhere you want and just fight things, and that's that. But this is supposed to be a game, you know? This is supposed to be a struggle. This is supposed to be a challenge to an extent. And it's to do with comparing your character, to benchmarking it, to seeing how it does with this versus that, in an earlier or later time, and revisiting places and seeing how it compares now. You take all that shit away when they just level with you. And someone mentioned in my previous video how even Star Wars The Old Republic has done that. And he said how after they did that, like at first the game, they didn't level with you. They're all set levels. You could go to different areas and feel different power levels and all that. But apparently a patch, they just made them all level with you. And he said that it just ruined the game. That then it's just a big world of the same fucking thing. So yeah, pretty crazy, huh? Legendaries aren't raining from the sky in this game. The magic items have meaning now. The rares have meaning now. The rares can have all sorts of stats, all sorts of crafting and modifications you can do to them to make them godly as fuck, potentially. These are all good things. And just like what Diablo 2 was, for example, some magic items in Diablo 2 are still endgame viable. In fact, they're the best in slot for some builds. And I think to an extent, that's where PoE 2 is going with this stuff. Like in this example with Diablo 2, the amulets, right? You can find amulets that give +3 to X skill tree. Like for some characters, like for the sorceress, +3 to lightning skills. Whereas the highest level to lightning skills you can find on any other types of amulets, like rare or even unique, is +2 to lightning skills. So it's kind of an interesting thing where if you wanted to just have the max level lightning skills at the sacrifice of maybe some res or cast rate or whatever else, life, mana, you can have that. And you can put on that lightning amulet, which, by the way, can have a suffix to it as well. So it can even have another stat that rolls randomly of a select amount of variables. But you can have the highest lightning skill sorceress with a magic amulet on, and it's basically how you get there is you got to have the fucking magic amulet to have the highest level of lightning skills on that sorceress. So it really does give them some meaning, you know. So even end game, it's kind of fun. In Diablo 2, you still pick up the blue amulet sometimes, and the same example applies to other items like javelins, for example. You can roll the highest skills with attack speed on them, and a certain shield that they call J-Mod, Jeweler's Monarch of Deflection. You can roll 4 sockets in it and have another couple nice mods on it. And it's a magic item. And you can't get 4 sockets on a rare or a unique. None of the uniques roll with that. So it just is a unique trait about some of these magic items, and it gives them meaning. And the same thing for rares. There's like rare pelts for the druid, for example, that you could roll on a helm that you don't find in any magic or unique. So basically, the rare pelt for a druid can give you the highest hurricane and tornado, giving you the best wind druid in the game, potentially, depending on the roll. And then there's all those other variables involved in the rare. So it just makes for an actual unique item then, because, I mean, these are so many prefixes, suffixes, and all that other shit, all these other attributes, that it makes it a helm that's very, very unique to your character. So these are actually the legendary items. You know what I mean? These are actually the unique items. And it seems like that's where PoE 2 is going with this stuff. So, wow, what a good game. There's other things I could mention in this video. I mean, you got the good-looking women. It's just something that a lot of games choose not to have anymore. They just have ugly as fuck characters, just because that's what they do. Of course, when you're playing a game like this, your character's in the center of the screen, you're looking at the whole fucking time. You know, guys like to look at things that they find visually appealing. I mean, it's not just looking at the women or whatever. We also like looking at the big buff dude, like how we like the movie Conan the Barbarian, for example, or Arnold in Terminator, or Rambo and fucking Rambo. You know what I mean? We like those masculine as fuck characters with muscles and shit, even if it's exaggerated. And in the same way, we like looking at nice, feminine, thin bitches, you know, with nice proportions and everything else. Nice skin, a youth aspect to them. You know, we like all this shit. And there's room for other things as well. Like, if you want to have the lunch lady druid, for example, that's fine, but give us a fucking selection to have the non-lunch lady version, will ya? Like, this is just fucking crazy. I mean, this stuff has sold since the beginning of fucking humanity, since the dawn of our fucking existence. We have commonalities and generalities that we've seen in terms of visual appeal. You know, we like attractive shit. And it's just fucked up when the only characters that they have for you are ugly as fuck. You know, they're just things that we don't want to look at all fucking day. You know, it's not very encouraging. So that's just another interesting thing about this game that I think is it's great. And I mentioned this in my last video, but the music in this game is great. The voice acting's great. I'm just loving it so far, man, and I'm taking it slow. I'm not spoiling things. I'm not looking at all the unique items in the game or whatever. I mean, I feel like I did back when I was playing Diablo 1, because in those days, the internet wasn't as abundant. And I remember when it was, when I did take a couple peeks on like the endgame unique items, it kind of ruined it for me. It was like, oh, now I just kind of know this game in and out. What's even the point of going out to find that shit? And just how the early days of playing that game, I remember finding a unique item, for example, and identifying the damn thing. And it was like, wow, I didn't realize there was shit like this in the game. I found like some bow that your arrows would randomly go either faster or slower, like per shot. And it was just, they'd be like all over the place. And it was just kind of fun. And it had a couple other mods to it. Like that was a unique mod. That wasn't something you'd see on any other item. So it just made me wonder. I was like, wow, what else are they going to come up with? You know, what else, what other wonders are in this world? What other discoveries are there to make in this world? And it adds to the excitement. It adds to the allure. I mean, I recommend you guys try that if you haven't. Just try not to look into all that bullshit, you know, and just take the game as it is. Yeah, maybe it's hard. Just go back then and kill shit earlier, you know, and just have a good time with it. Roll around, dodge, dive, dip, duck, and dodge, and all that bullshit if you're having a hard time. And remake, I don't know. That's what they said back in T2. I remember when you would get PK'd or whatever, you try to duel somebody, they just beat your ass with like a paladin smite or something, just boom, and your character was dead, and they'd be like, remake. Just how fucking offensive that was, man. That really hurt my feelings the first time that happened. I mean, I was a little duckbell, but, you know, I was like, oh, man, I put all this work into this character. You're just telling me to remake this shit? You don't know how much time I invest in this? Just like what a slam that was. But, I mean, it's all for growth, you know? It was all a part of the ascension. So, if you guys will like this video, thanks again for coming by. Thank you for the support on this channel. It's been quite a spiritual journey. And I will continue live streaming Path of Exile here and on my Twitch simultaneously is how I do it. And blessings to you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace be with you. And have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday or whatever. And hope you have a good time seeing your family. Yeah, we all love that shit, don't we? But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow.